An Oregon man was convicted and sent to jail for collecting and using rainwater on his own property, sued by the state for theft. Rancher Gary Harrington built 3 large reservoirs on his own land to collect rainwater and snow melt. He claimed the water was primarily for fire protection reserves and for providing water to wildlife. But the state called it theft and prosecuted Gary. A municipal code stipulates that all water within city limits, including precipitation, is part of the public water supply. The city requested the court order the removal of his collection system and impose a fine. Despite Harrington's repeated appeals, arguing, "The water fell on my land, I'm not selling it. I'm simply using it on my own property." The court ultimately rejected his claims. Harrington was found guilty on multiple charges, including unlawful appropriation of state water resources. He was sentenced to 30 days in jail and fined over $1,500. The incident sparked intense backlash. Residents said it was simply tyranny. If a person cannot own the rain that falls on their own land, what do they actually own?
My BPPN family, this is the Black People Politics Network, and I'm Mr. Gray. And I gotta be honest, this is crazy. This story doesn't require a debate. It's gonna reveal to you how the system actually thinks. A man didn't steal anything. He didn't exploit anybody. He didn't try to break a system. This dude caught the rain. Something that falls freely from the sky, something nobody created, something that doesn't belong to the state until the state decided to say that it does. And the state responded like he crossed the line. You know, modern power doesn't announce itself. It's going to quietly decide what actions require permissions. And once those permissions become the habit, freedom becomes the exception. You know, you're allowed to exist, you're allowed to pay your taxes, you're allowed to comply. Compliance is rewarded. But once you start acting independently, that's when they start to come for you. The moment you behave like something is yours, that's when the system says, hey, wait a minute. What you think you're doing? Let's not argue about the water rights. Let's ask the real question. Let's actually break this down. Why does survival require approval? And who benefits when the answer is always someone else? You know, micromanagement is the language of insecurity. You know, this punishment seems excessive for a reason. Not because of the rain, but because it sends a signal about what happens when somebody operates outside the permission structure. The moment somebody finds out that you're independent, it becomes contagious. And then other people start doing it. That's what they're trying to control. And a system that relies on compliance, they can't afford people realizing they don't need to ask. You know, when the system decides that you don't own anything that falls from the sky, it already decided something much bigger for you. Someone who must be managed instead of trusted. There's nothing accidental about this. It functions as a message, a warning wrapped in legality, a lesson delivered quietly. So quiet, most people never realize they're being trained. Stay vigilant, stay engaged, stay revolutionary.